Look at that fucking face. Isn't this the same motherfucker who dresses up in a green suit and dances to Uptown Pops for views?
What's going on, people? Welcome back to another video. My name is hughwizzy and you're watching another episode of Let's Talk, baby. We've got quite a lot to talk about, including why Alexis Sanchez and Mesut Ozil do not appear to have any intention of signing new contracts at the hughwizzy, and why that isn't the end of the world. We're also going to be talking about the top six in general, everything from Manchester United and City, both Manchester teams obviously off to a roaring start. Pep Guardiola looks to be in his element, but we said that last season as well, so we will be discussing where the Manchester teams really are in their progression today. I'm off to meet Rambo now, who is a Liverpool fan, so I'm going to ask him a couple of questions. Hope you're all doing well. Wembley Cup is this weekend. Incredible scenes. Third run out of Wembley, absolutely buzzing about that. Oh hello! It's crack-a-lacking, mate. All good? What's going on? Say hello.
Yo, this guy's a legend, obviously.
Hold that a second.
Yeah, well. Hey, boys and girls, man's had a fresh trim. Hey!
Oh, yeah!
I literally just tweeted, you know when you've got a fresh trim, you're walking around thinking everybody else thinks you've got a fresh trim. When nobody else has seen anything different, but you just feel like $1,000,000. I got that feeling today.
There you go, man.
Legend. Legend. Legend.
Tell people where they can subscribe to your channel, what you do, and da-da-da-da.
Rambo FY, it's football, it's banter, and it's a great beard. I've not practiced that, it's the first time.
Liverpool have basically been on a little bit of a downer ever since they smashed Arsenal 4-0. And we've been through the transfer window. Klopp didn't really do anything defensively as far as additions go. What do you reckon he needs to do in January, or what do you reckon has gone wrong in general?
Hand on heart, I am not a deluded Liverpool fan. I can ask you, I'm really not. I honestly think Klopp isn't doing that much wrong, because when you think about the games and the amount of shots we've had on goal, the conversion's actually poor. But if 2 or 3 of them shots go in a game, we're having 20, 30 shots a game. If you convert 2 or 3 of those, you probably win 90% of the fixtures we've been drawing. So I actually don't think he's doing that much wrong. Collectively, defensively, we're not that bad. Individual errors, in particular Dejan Lovren, waste man defender. That's all I can say. Like, individual errors are massively costing us. Against Newcastle, for example, we score a worldie. Salah misses an open net. Sturridge misses an absolute sitter. Against Spartak, Sturridge missed a sitter. Firmino missed a sitter. That's not Klopp's responsibility. Like, he's putting the players on the pitch. They're just not doing the business. So I actually think we're okay, but we probably do still need a centre back in January. Whether that's VVD, I'm not too sure.
Champions League, I remember you put out a tweet when you saw the draw, extremely confident that you were going to get through. 2 draws in, how are you feeling now?
I still think we'll get through. Sevilla are the big problem. We've got Maribor twice, I believe. Yeah, we've got Maribor twice.
What country are Maribor from?
That is a... One of my friends bets a lot, and he backs Maribor in every single bet away from home. So Maribor, as in basically at Maribor's ground. So Liverpool travelling to Maribor is not going to be easy, and we're just not that good in away Champions League ties. My issue really is we get through the group stage and we'll go up against like Ronaldo or Messi. What are we going to do then? Because the individual errors will not be suffocated out of this team. We'll be absolutely screwed. But I still do think we'll get through. We'll beat CSK at home. We've got Sevilla away. We won't win, but I think we'll draw. Maribor at home will win, and I think that'll just about be enough.
Well, look, man, it's good to see you.
Always.
Catch up soon.
Of course.
And hit me up on FIFA when you're ready. Yeah?
I did practice.
Okay, it's my good deed for the day done. If you want to win yourself one of 2 pairs of tickets to the Wembley Cup to see #United taking on Techers Town, then all you got to do is like the video, leave a comment and retweet the tweet with the video in it, and I will choose 2 winners so that you can both take a +1 within the next 24 hours. Hope everyone's doing well and looking forward to Wembley. I think they sold over 30,000 tickets. It's definitely going to be the biggest crowd that I've played in front of, even though I might not play that many minutes. I'm just really buzzing to be involved. I'm happy to warm the bench and soak up the atmosphere. So, there's a little bit of Liverpool content. Let's talk about the Arsenal for a second. Very impressed with the way that, for example, Nacho Monreal has handled himself. He's proven himself to be quite a leader, almost as integral, I would say, as Koscielny these days, perhaps even more so. Very versatile. He has certainly come into his own, where I thought he was looking a little bit past it last season. I've been very impressed with Nacho, I've got to say. Arsenal having a bit of a resurgence themselves after the Liverpool and Stoke defeats. The fixture list has gifted them games which they really have to win. And so far so good. They have been keeping clean sheets, incredible. You know, a lot of players that I'd written off are actually doing quite well. I've been quite derogatory about Petr Cech, it has to be said. However, he is a legend. He is a Premier League legend. He is one of the very few winners in this side, and he is someone who I think is actually very committed to Arsenal, which can't be said for the likes of Alexis Sanchez and Mesut Ozil, and we will move on to those two very soon. However, I'd just like to focus on Cech for a second. A bit of an apology if I'm totally honest. He's actually saved Arsenal's skin a couple of times in the last few games, and I've been very impressed with the way he's handled himself, not only in interviews but also in the games themselves. So, Petr, I'm actually sorry, and we really do need you, especially because at the end of last season I kind of presumed that Szczesny was going to be brought back into the fold. However, having been sold to Juventus for a measly £10 million or whatever, 10 million euros or whatever the hell it was, we've been left with Ospina and Macy after Emilio Martinez was loaned out to Getafe. Okay, well, it's time to talk about the two wantaways, Alexis Sanchez and Mesut Ozil. It really would appear that they have no intention of signing new deals, and as a result, Arsenal face the worrying prospect of losing both of their top class players, both of their most valuable assets, for free on a Bosman. And both of these players will be able to talk to clubs, not that they haven't already been talking to clubs, let's be honest, but legally they're allowed to talk to clubs. I think even sign pre-contract deals from January the 1st, which in itself is quite worrying, especially given that where we knew Alexis Sanchez wanted to leave, where we knew that something was cooking, right? With Mesut Ozil, he's actually tried to play us. With Alexis, he couldn't say anything. You know, he's played this game of, I don't know what's going on, we'll see, or I know what I want, but it's not up to me, it's up to Arsenal. What's ended up happening is the way that Alexis Sanchez has played it has made him look like the troublemaker. It's made him look like he wants out, and as a result, people have started to scapegoat him. I think even people who really were just truly in love with the guy. Wonderful player, absolutely wonderful player, with a fantastic spirit as well. However, he's not faultless. You know, the most dispossessed player in the Premier League last season. There have been questions as to whether he's really playing for himself or playing for the team. Am I actually locked in the park? Oh wow, I'm locked in the park. I just want to stress, Alexis Sanchez was not man of the match against Brighton. You delusional clowns, because of the backheeled assist. Yes, it was wonderful. Yes, he sent 3 or 4 guys to the shops for milk, but come on, lads. It's clear that he's just trying to put himself in the shop window. I mean, he's already in the shop window, and, you know, Wenger's already said it's in Alexis' best interest to play to the best of his ability, and it really is. Chile might not even qualify for the Argentina might not even qualify for the World Cup. Lots of good World Cup content coming your way soon. I'm very excited about the prospects of the World Cup just around the corner. England on Thursday at Wembley. If there isn't a tube strike, I'll try and get myself tickets and get down there. I find it quite funny that people think Alexis Sanchez is man of the match. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I get that you love him, right? I love him too. I'm going to be realistic here. We all know he wanted to go. He probably still does want to go. He's probably got the deal with City lined up, and it's going to take a hell of a lot of change for him to back out of that, or at least to change his mind. So people need to get used to the fact that he is playing for himself. He's not interested in being at the club anymore. He's been forced to stay, or he's ended up in a situation where he can't leave. That doesn't mean that he's suddenly going to be 100%. However, much like people predicted, he is such a battler, such a warrior. He does want to win and play at the top level, and he is a fantastic player. That goal against Colm is a top class goal. It doesn't matter whether it's Alexis Sanchez on 100% or 50%. If he's putting stuff like that out of the bag, then I'm absolutely cool with it. So, we know about Alexis, but what is now coming to the forefront is the truth about Mesut Ozil. Here's the thing about Mesut Ozil. Mesut Ozil played us all for suckers. He really did. And you know the only reason he's still at the club? It's because no one came in with a sensible offer for him. No one really wanted him that badly. And it's actually got to the stage now where it would appear to be more beneficial for Mesut and his camp to just hold off for the Bosman free that he can move on at the end of the season, where he will be able to get the most redonkulous signing on fees that you can ever think of. As a result, he finds himself in a situation where people are swiftly turning on Mesut. Forget the fact that I believe he's a top class player. Forget the fact that since 2014-15 he has more assists and goals than everyone, I think, apart from Christian Eriksen and Kevin De Bruyne, and there you're talking like a difference of 2 or 3. Of course, your average English pundit finds it more beneficial to focus in on things like his body language, which so many people don't approve of. Martial is like that, Lamar is like that, Lacazette is like that. They have a very laid back, or what appears to be very laid back. It's not laid back, it's just the way they are. He obviously needs to do more tracking back for the English fan to be happy with what he's doing or what he's adding to the game. But I'm still a big Mesut Ozil fan, and I think it would be a great shame to lose a player of that quality when we've literally just bought a striker. We've only just bought a striker that is even close to what he deserves. So it has now come to the forefront, though, that Mesut may well be moving to Manchester United. It doesn't sound like there are any real quotes in any of these stories. I think Miguel Delaney is the guy that's written this for The Independent, and that's what everyone's running with. But this has been a rumour that's been kind of circulating for a few months now. Mesut Ozil reigniting that partnership with Jose Mourinho, who incidentally wrote the foreword in Ozil's autobiography, which was released quite recently. So I'm beginning to think that we may well be seeing the end of Mesut Ozil and Alexis Sanchez at this club. It's going to be a great shame to lose Ozil. I don't know how they're going to replace them. However, as Matt Law is trying to focus in on, it's to me quite laughable. Oxlade-Chamberlain leaving enables Bellerin to play in his actual position, and also encourages Wenger to play Kolasinac in his natural position. As a result, we're a more balanced side. It's not Ox on the right one day, in midfield the next, at right back the next, on the left back the next. You know, we don't know whether we're coming or going. No one knows what's going on. And it has to be said, Oxlade-Chamberlain is looking like a walking L right now. They lost quite heavily to Manchester City, but I think they've won 1 game since he moved there. And I don't think he's played very many minutes at all. 6 minutes here, 8 minutes there, 20 minutes there. I watched him play in the Cup, and it was one of the most abysmal performances I've seen from a professional footballer in my life. And I kid you not. I know he's in the Champions League. I'm just questioning whether he made the right moves there. And, you know, I like Ox, but he really has no end product. And his start at Liverpool has been atrocious. And it's got me actually thinking, wow, we got £40 million for the guy. Incredible business from Arsenal. Incredible. So Chelsea have dodged a bullet. Arsenal have got 40 million. Liverpool mugged off completely. However, we've spoken to Ryan about Liverpool already. We've talked a little bit about the Arse. And Arsenal do have a few winnable games coming up before Manchester City, which could well put them in a position where people will start taking them seriously again. However, I should stress that I've really enjoyed watching Arsenal being the underdog, because no one expects anything. They're actually expecting things to go wrong. But whilst Kolasinac for me was actually exposed against Brighton a few times, he doesn't look very smart defensively. Going forward, he's fantastic. And we are beginning to see flashes of what Lacazette can do, whether that's bringing other people into play, some very, very intelligent movement in and around the box, and this total confidence where he literally has no fear about shooting from absolutely anywhere. A beautiful effort from about 35 yards, which smashed against the post. He scored from outside the box already. He doesn't seem to have any qualms, unlike most Arsenal players that we know, of shooting from absolutely anywhere. And I guess that is really his main strength, his finishing. He's already fallen behind Lukaku and Morata, but Morata is out for a while, and Aguero is going to be out for a while after that horrendous car crash that he was involved in. Let's talk about those Manchester clubs whilst we're just going through Aguero. And the fact that they've lost Mendy as well, who looks like he may well be out for up to 6 to 9 months. A really, really sad situation there, because he's a player that did so well at Monaco last year, has obviously been subject to this £50 million bid. He's made the move. Everyone loves the banter that he's got online, you know, on Twitter. He's absolutely fantastic for. He's a real character, and I really like characters. Not only that, but I think he was integral to what Monaco did last year, actually. And even in the short space of time that I've seen the guy playing at Manchester City, he looks like he's improved every time. Absolute top-class delivery. Again, I'm not convinced about him defensively, I've got to say, but going forward, just a real asset, and it's going to be interesting to see whether Pep Guardiola relies on someone like Fabian Delph, who is incidentally, I think, left-footed, and can obviously play, you know, anywhere. He's very much a versatile buy from Manchester City. It's almost like they've bought him to kind of fill in the gaps. He hasn't really played, he's played a bit part, if that at all, because of the plethora of world-class players that they've got on their books. However, now may be his moment, now may be his time to shine, and he certainly, the other day, was scoring a fantastic goal, curling the top corner. What a beauty! Fabian Delph, incredible. So anyway, it'll be interesting to see whether they do sign a left-back, but for now, Pep Guardiola and Jose Mourinho have made fantastic starts with their respective Manchester clubs. Romelu Lukaku, who I have to say, he's like an enigma. It's like, I don't actually rate him as a footballer, but at the same time, he's absolutely unstoppable. I mean, he's so strong, it's ridiculous. He's throwing defenders about, and that buys him like a couple of seconds here or there of essential space. And yeah, maybe he needs to, you know, fluff his lines once to get the tap in, but he's scoring goals, and he will continue to score goals at a phenomenal rate whilst he's at Manchester United, and they're supplying him with all the deliveries because he's basically only got one job there, and that is scoring goals. I know that seems obvious, and yes, it is what you'd want your striker to do, but I hope there are people out there who understand why I say I'm not that impressed with him as a footballer, even though his numbers are absolutely phenomenal. You know, there's this generic, it's almost taboo, like Lukaku's first touch. It's not so much about his first touch, it's not great. It's his footballing IQ, it's his awareness. I'm not doubting his commitment, his work rate, his strength, the ability to just dominate physically, with pace, with power, you know, all these generic things that you would think about when you talk about Lukaku. But just the amount of chances that he's going to get means he will score a lot of goals, and if he isn't in your fancy Premier League team, he should be. One guy I have been really impressed with is Marcus Rashford. What a player. Wow, what a player. He's not, before you get gassed, right, he's not on Mbappe's level. He's not on Mbappe's level. But he's the next best thing. He's England's version, that goes without saying. He's the closest thing that England have got to Kylian Mbappe, and he should be treasured. Not only is he an actual Manchester-born, you know, homegrown youth prospect who's come through the ranks astonishingly quickly, it has to be said. As a 17-year-old, I think now he's 20. Correct me if I'm wrong, I think he's 19, 20. We've got some of the best players in the world, some of the best. England have actually got some of the best young players in the world. 21, Dele Alli. 22, Raheem Sterling. Rashford, 20 or whatever he is. Harry Kane's in the form of his life. I know Asensio is up there. I know Mbappe's up there. These are the top boys. Dembele and all these guys. As far as English players go, I'm going to count Iwobi in this. I know he's, you know, Nigerian, but you know, you grew up in London, blah blah blah. You're English, mate. He is up there as well. Iwobi, fantastic performance against Brighton. Much like Sterling, if he can sort out his shooting, he's going to be a real baller, that kid. Absolute baller. He's very intelligent. He's very unselfish. He's composed. I just think it's much like I just think it's the shooting that's lacking right now, and he hasn't been in the best of form of late, but people have been giving him way too much stick. This is a kid, it's literally a kid that's been thrown in at the deep end, and he's learning so quickly. Like, again, another homegrown youth prospect that's come through the ranks, and I just love that. It doesn't happen all the time, and clubs should hold on to those players and be proud of them. I actually think, in hindsight, that it's a shame that we had to get rid of Kieran Gibbs, who looked so good when we played West Brom. I guess, you know, he isn't quite up to the standard of what you want, whatever, but because he's been at the club for so long, I just find it mystifying that a player who doesn't have the same ability in Carl Jenkinson, and we actually bought from Charlton, even though he's a lifelong Arsenal fan, we bought the guy from Charlton, he's still at the club. I'm lost as far as that goes. It's almost an insult to Kieran, but yeah. He was obviously exemplary in his behaviour as well, because you could see the difference in the tone of the tweets that Arsenal Football Club has sent out from the official account when dealing with Kieran Gibbs and in comparison to Oxlade-Chamberlain. One was given a real send-off, and one had obviously forced his way out of the club with little or no respect. Tottenham. You know, I thought that the playing at Wembley was going to be a real issue for them this season, And initially it looks like it might be, however they look like they're warming to it slightly. One thing I'll say about Kane, he does shoot quite a lot, right? I know everyone loves him. He, again, is a fantastic prospect for England. Coming up to the World Cup, it's looking really good for England. But, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know what his conversion rate is, but I would imagine his conversion rate isn't even as good as Lukaku. I don't think it is. Definitely not as good as Morata, who I think will probably have the best conversion rate out of all of them. Morata's hat-trick was world class. Oh my word, that finish where I can't show you my feet, right, but if he's running along, right, and my head is the ball, he kind of went that way and then dinked it like that, and it went wow. It just cut. I mean, the angle that he scored that goal from was phenomenal. He's much quicker than I thought. He looks like a good boy. He's more intelligent than Lukaku. He's more well-rounded than Lacazette. Dangerous as Diego Costa, I have to say. He's definitely not as strong. He's definitely not as angry. He's definitely not got, you know, a point to prove or just a favela mentality guy. I don't think he's like that, but he's very good, tidy player. Okay, right. I've put out a little tweet saying if you've got any questions you want to ask me, then fire away. How's your ultimate team looking? Says George. George, let me know if you want FIFA videos, basically. I can do some ultimate team, some career mode, some games against you guys. I don't know what you'd like to see, but yeah, I can definitely do some ultimate team videos. Who do you think the next Arsenal manager should be and why? You know what, Alfie Fisher, I really don't know, but obviously Wenger signed that 2-year deal. I couldn't believe that they gave Wenger a 2-year deal. I just couldn't believe it. I mean, you know, I love him. I'm not gonna lie, I love the guy. I've got such a lot of respect for Arsene Wenger that I find it very difficult to be too derogatory about him for too long, especially if I'm not being reactionary. But I've never said Wenger out. I will never say Wenger out. You know, I think at some stage, I just kind of realised that, oh right, I don't actually have a say in this. It doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter whether we've done this or that or failed or succeeded. It doesn't matter. Wenger runs the show, sit back and watch and enjoy it for what it is. I voiced my opinion on here, and the world of football is a mad one. You've got people like Ancelotti being sacked at Bayern. Incidentally, I should stress, I don't actually think that Ancelotti was ever the right man at Bayern, the right man for Bayern, given enough control to do what he wanted at Bayern. And I just don't understand why they actually brought him in, because what we've got at Bayern is old school. It's about to turn into new school. It's being flooded with youth now. It's looking like a completely different team at times. Is he the guy to do that? I don't think he is anymore. I'm not sure he is. Anyway, are you a milk before cereal guy or cereal before milk side? Listen mate, if you pour your milk in first, you're a wrong 'un. What's going to happen with Alexis Sanchez and Mesut Ozil is that we will end up selling one of them in January and letting the other go in the summer. I can't see both of these guys staying. I think the damage is done now. I think that one or both of them have probably disrespected someone, maybe Arsene Wenger or just the club itself or their teammates, to the point where people have now kind of changed their mind about him. There's a piece in the paper today, here's Evening Standard, talking about how teammates are angry at Alexis and Ozil not showing up at a club event. I think it's a week or two ago, Arsenal signed a suit deal, a brand name. These guys didn't turn up! I mean, who do you think you are? Incredible stuff. The audacity, this is why I think that the damage may well have been done. The players don't respect them as much as they once did. And also they probably, in being kind of unsure about where the club is going, and like I said before, not all of them really liking or buying into Wenger and Gazidis and just the club in general. I think there's a little internal war going on. Alexis Sanchez and Mesut Ozil will probably be cannon fodder. They will probably be at the forefront of this war of attrition. Anyway, moving on. What's your ideal front three for Arsenal? Well, I'd love to see Lacazette, Ozil and Alexis play all at once, but for some reason, unbeknown to me, they're not allowed to be on the pitch at the same time. Strange but true. Sam F Arsenal 86 says, will the media recognise Ozil as the outstanding player he is if he moves to Manchester United? I think that goes without saying, mate. You've got to realise that Arsenal Football Club are not only not as good as they think they are, but that the fans are also a very vulnerable group of people. susceptible to clickbait during the silly season of the transfer window, and reactionary. We are very reactionary. They know that. They've cottoned on to that. You know, they've known that for years with phone-ins, 606 and whatnot, where people ring in, you know, crying and shouting and screaming and whatnot. Arsenal fans are always at the forefront because, truth be told, so much has been going wrong. So I really think that as soon as someone is associated with the biggest brand in football, with the biggest club in the world, you know, buying Real Madrid or whatever, the biggest club in the country, they are integral to the marketing aspect of the Premier League itself and have been from the very inception of the idea. Just being associated with them gives you more credit, more credibility. He's very underappreciated, Mesut Ozil, and it really pisses me off because he is a unique player. Look at the stats, there is literally no difference. There is no reason why this guy is criticised more than the other guys. There is no reason. He's been scapegoated because, again, people don't like the body language, or they don't understand that some people are different. You know, some people are more reserved, they are introverts. Some people are, look at me, I'm like, we're not all like that, you know? We're not all like that. And I think he's been misused, that he hasn't had the best of times always. Totally wasted at Arsenal at times. In fact, like, what you've got to realise about Ozil is that he's a facilitator, Ozil. He is a key component in making those around him better at what they do. He brings people out of their shell. He can get the best out of you, but you can't put him, you know, with bang average players, mate. He's got aspirations. He has pride himself. Nando's, McDonald's, KFC, pick one, says Pass Like Pillow. I've got to be honest, it's Nando's, but realistically only for the sauce. Popeyes is the truth, baby. Anyone that knows, you will salute for that. But yeah, if I had to choose one out of them, I'd probably choose Nando's because I am absolutely addicted to the hot sauce. Okay, so that's about it for this time. We've done a lot of talking and it's been a lot of fun catching up with you guys in another episode of Let's Talk. Don't forget, if you want to win yourself one pair of the 2 pairs that I'm giving away, all you got to do is subscribe if you're new and drop the video a damn like if you breathe oxygen. For now though, I've got that show tomorrow, Total Techers, which will be popping up on my timeline, so if you're interested, make sure you go and check that out. If you want some more Hugh Wizzy in your life, or you just want some Spencer Owen, who is going to be our guest of honour. And we will be talking all things Wembley Cup, all things West Ham, and seeing what kind of skills he's got in his locker. For now though, I've been Hugh Wizzy, and this has been a lot of fun. Peace.